Hi everyone! I am so sorry, it seemed like I disappeared from the face of the planet. I know it's been about 8 or 9 months since my last update around the time of my birthday, and some of you asked if I got injured, someone asked why I quit YouTube, and none of those things happened. I just got really slammed with deadlines, and they just kept coming one after the other, and I had project after project. So as much as I love making these YouTube videos for you guys, sometimes it tends to fall to the bottom of my priority list, but I really want to try to get better at updating the channel. I have some new subscribers, so thanks everyone for sliding on even though I haven't released a video for 1,000 years. I do appreciate it. So today we are going to have a tutorial. Since Easter's right around the corner, like, is it just a couple days from now on Sunday? I thought it would be fun to make an Easter themed project, something really quick and easy since there's not a lot of time left. I saw a picture of some really cute cake pops and I thought that would be a really fun crochet project, something easy to do. I mean, a cake pop is basically just a ball, so all we have to do is crochet a ball. So here's, wow, he's so blown out. I'm sorry. He's a really cute white bunny cake pop. And basically, yeah, he's just a crocheted ball, and we'll crochet him some ears, and that's basically it. With the same ball, you can also make a chicky friend. These are so blown out. I'll have better pictures later. It's really dark at my house, so I have this like light blazing up in my face, which is okay for my face, but not great for these guys. But you can see they're really cute. I don't know what you would do with them. Maybe you could stick them on the top of cupcakes. You can just hide them as presents. Oh my god, this is so awkward. Okay, I'm facing a window, which is facing my neighbor's house, and like staggered sort of half a floor up, they have a bathroom window, and someone just popped up the window. And these houses were built in the 50s, and the sound really travels, so I'm wondering if this person is seeing me talking to you guys through the window. Whatever, that's awkward. Now I'm embarrassed. Anyway, we'll be making these. If you can indulge me for a second, I would love to catch you up on some crochet things that have happened in the last few months. As I'd been mentioning, I was manically trying to finish my book. It was way over deadline, and I did manage to finish at the end of August. It's actually available now. The official pub date is April 1st, but people who have pre-ordered on Amazon are already getting their books, and it's really exciting. People are posting on Instagram. I saw someone already post some projects from the book that they made, and I'm just really excited that it's being received so well. So that's a really big thing that I'm excited about, and I am going to try to shoot a fun book trailer video to promote the book. I think I finally settled on a pretty simple concept for that, so I'm going to try to film that in the next couple days before April 1st. The other thing that I've started doing is I've started filming crochet classes for creativebug.com. If you haven't heard of Creative Bug, it's a subscription-based site, and for like $4.99 or $4.95 a month, you have access to hundreds and hundreds of classes, ranging from crocheting to knitting to drawing, painting, screen printing, baking, all kinds of cool DIY stuff to brush up on your skills and learn some new ones. All the classes are beautifully... Shh. The dogs are here. You shut up. All the classes are beautifully shot. This YouTube video is horrible. Like, I'm just using my laptop to shoot this right now, and I have a desk lamp on my face. They're here in San Francisco, so I was able to go and film in their studio. That was an interesting experience. I have a lot of weird anxiety about being filmed or photographed by other people. I just think I end up sounding weird and looking really weird, so I can't even watch my Creative Bug classes. It's nothing against Creative Bug, it's like my own thing. So if you end up watching them, you can let me know if you liked them. So there's like a crew, and there's like 3 cameras and all different angles, and it was just interesting kind of doing what I do here, but in front of a bunch of other people. I'm usually just by myself, but it was really fun. The crew is really awesome. Everyone involved is also very creative, and they're painters and filmmakers and musicians, so it's just a really like cool energy to be around. So regardless of the fact that I have classes launching on there, you should still check it out. I think you can get like a free trial, so you should check it out. I have one class on there right now that launched in February. It's how to crochet a really cute sloth. It's a part of this Critter of the Month series. I'm contributing 4 patterns to that. My next pattern launches in April, which is right around the corner, so I'm going to keep that a secret just so you guys can have a surprise. I was actually in the Creative Bug studio again last week, all week, creating a new series of my own, and if you follow me on Instagram, you probably could have figured out what the theme was, because I posted a couple pictures. Here's a picture that I took on the set that I didn't post anywhere. Super special secret for you guys, one of the projects that we did, so stay tuned for that. I think that series is launching in May, but I'm not sure. Nothing's been announced yet. That's just what one of the people at the office told me. Some other things that I got up to last year, my buddy Kristen runs Urban Craft Uprising in Seattle, and she asked if I would do the promo art for the holiday show, and I said yes, because the super cool part of it was that that promo art gets put on billboards in Seattle, so it's like, this is probably the one and only time I would be able to see my work on a billboard. What I ended up doing was creating the Seattle skyline in a crochet painting, and I put like little hats and scarves on the buildings, and I know that some people said that like my tower looked like a giraffe and not like a building, and I was a little insulted, and my mom was like, yeah, it kind of does look like a giraffe, and I'm like, thanks, Mom. I didn't have time while I was in Seattle for the craft fair to find the billboard and see it in person, but I'm glad that UCU took a photo and at least got to see a picture of the billboard. So if you're in Seattle and you happened to see that weird giraffe skyline building thing, and I went to vend at the show that the promo art was for. It's cool. I got to hang out with old friends and meet new ones. I got to meet some of you guys, and you gave me presents, and it was just a really fun experience. It's a great show. If you're a crafter in Seattle or Portland and you're looking to vend at something, you should definitely check out Urban Craft Uprising. Let's see what else happened. Right after the show, like the weekend after, I met up with my desert bunny princess from Arizona, Courtney, aka IGGYSTARPUP. She does wonderful, like, kind of felt embroidery hoop art based on like fun cartoons and pop culture. You should check her work out. So we met up at Disneyland and had some fun and ate some junk food and went on some rides, and she also actually came to visit recently. What was that, just like less than a month ago, just to pal around. And we met up with Tiny Tangerines, whose crochet work you guys might know, and her sister-in-law Kiki, who's an amazing tattoo artist. So had some fun girl time with some other creative peeps. And let's see, does anything else happen that was crochet related that would be exciting? I feel like I wrote down a list of cool things to share with you guys, and I don't know where I put that list. Okay, let's get to our cake pop tutorial. It's gonna be really easy. It's gonna take you like 20 minutes. It took me longer to figure out how I wanted to decorate my cake pop than to actually crochet it. So I'm gonna show you this bunny, and once you figure out how to make the bunny's head, you can make the chickie, and I'll go in and show you the details, but I'm not actually going to crochet him on camera. What you'll need for your cake pops. This bunny cake pop I made with white yarn, but for the tutorial I'll be using pink yarn. Regardless, all these little cake pops are made with Red Heart Super Saver. This is in soft white. On camera, I'm going to be using Perfect Pink. If you want to make a chickie, it's also Red Heart Super Saver in bright yellow. You'll be needing an H-hook. You'll be needing scissors and a tapestry needle, some polyester stuffing, popsicle sticks. I've been really into using a pencil to help with stuffing small objects. The eraser provides that perfect traction to stuff that stuffing in. You're going to end up decorating your bunny and your chickie in your own ways. I used felt. I used a small amount of brown felt and pink felt, and here it's brown felt and orange felt. You might want to use embroidery thread instead. I tried to embroider him, and that just didn't look good to me, so I stuck with felt. If you make the chickie, his little wing nubbins are actually pom-poms, 5mm yellow pom-poms, and his little feet nubbins are orange pom-poms. I highly recommend you grab some cute yarn or ribbon to tie a little bow at the bottom. I think that makes it look extra cake popalicious. And what else? Glue. You're gonna need glue. You can use any craft glue. The only glue involved is gluing on the facial features and also gluing the popsicle stick into the ball. I'm using Fabri-Tac, but tacky glue is just as good. Use whatever you have. It's not a big deal. Oh! One more thing. I don't like cutting out little circles, so to make their eyes, I used a punch. I'm terrible. I don't know what size this is. Offhand, it looks like a 1/4 inch round punch to me. I just got it at Michael's. There's no branding on this, but it's really good. It goes right through the felt. I think that's it. I'm done talking. I'm sure you're done listening. So let's get started. To start the cake ball, we're going to work in the round, which means you can start with magic circle or chain 3 and slip stitch to the first chain, and that's what I usually do. But I found a way to do magic circle that sort of makes sense to me, so even though I don't usually show a magic circle, I thought I would do that for the first time. So make sure the end of your yarn is pointing toward the bottom of your hand. I'm using pink, but you can use white. I'm just using pink because I think it'll show up on camera better. Take the working yarn and wrap it around the top of your first 2 fingers and cross it over that first piece of yarn like that. I'm going to pick up your 8-chuck and slide it into the back of your hand underneath this loop of yarn. And you're going to pick up the working yarn with your hook and pull it through like this. And the tricky part is the magic circle is where your fingers are, and you need to remove your fingers but preserve the circle. So just do that really carefully and pick up the working yarn as if you're about to start crocheting. And there's all this twisting happening right here. That's important. Don't lose that. So you can hold it between your thumb and your 3rd finger and then yarn over and chain 1. That's the first chain 1 of round 1. So if all that looked super heinous, you can just chain 3 and slip stitch to the first chain instead and then chain 1. And round 1 starts with 6 single crochet into your ring or your magic circle. And for single crochet, you insert your hook into the desired stitch, yarn over and pull through 1 loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. I'm going to zoom in a bit more now since we're crocheting and not magic looping. And once again, single crochet is insert your hook into the desired stitch, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So I have 2 single crochets here in my magic circle, and I'm going to work 4 more for a total of 6. It's 3 and then 4. At the end of round 1, you would then close the magic circle by pulling on this yarn tail, and it closes right up like this. We are not joining our rounds, so round 2 will just start in the first stitch of round 1. And if you want, you can use a stitch marker. I'm going to use a piece of yarn in a contrasting color. And you can just lay it in front of the stitch you just worked, like this. And then we're just going to crochet right over it. And we'll keep using it as we go round by round. So for round 2, you're going to work 2 single crochets into the first stitch, which I'll also refer to as an increase since it increases the number of stitches in your round. So here's 1 single crochet, and then you work another one in the exact same stitch. And that's 2. You're going to repeat that a total of 6 times all the way around, and your stitch count at the end of round 2 will be 12. Oops. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And flip back your stitch marker to keep your place. For round 3, we're going to work 1 increase So that's 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the following stitch. You work that motif 6 times all the way around. So it's 1 increase, it's 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet. At the end of round 3, you should have 18 stitches. At the end of the round, flip up your stitch marker. I'm actually going to pull out my stitch marker at this point and reinsert it, because for rounds 4 through 8 you're just working in single crochet evenly around, and that just means working 1 single crochet in each stitch. So the stitch count stays the same. There are no increases or decreases. You're just single crocheting around and around and around. And so I moved my stitch marker to remind me where I started working my even rounds, because I know I want to work 5 even rounds. So you can also use your stitch marker to help keep your round count. Oops. Flip your stitch marker up at the end of that round, and now you're starting around 5, I think. So just continue working like this until you're at the end of round 8. Flip this up. This is round 6. So I'm going to stop for a second to talk about right side and wrong side. Right side is abbreviated RS and wrong side is abbreviated WS, and the right side is just the side of the work that's facing you while you're crocheting, and the wrong side is the back side here. And when you're making 3D objects like this, one side or the other will be showing on the outside, and in all my patterns I note that I prefer the right side to show on the outside, and that's just an aesthetic choice. I just like the way it looks better, but you should pay attention in patterns, because the way the pattern is written, that pattern writer took into consideration which side they like to show, and if you start switching it around, the shaping might be different in your project. Like this pattern might look really different if I just let this side show on the outside. It might end up longer and skinnier instead of like rounder and ballier, so just pay attention to what the pattern says as far as which side should show on the outside. Oops, let's see, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1 more round of working evenly to go. At round 9, we're going to start to decrease, and I'm going to show you the invisible decrease. It's invisible because if you use a different method of decrease, like single crochet 2 together, if all the decreases end up being in the same spot round after round, you'll start to see them forming a line, because single crochet 2 together leaves kind of a bump. So all those bumps in a row will start leaving a line. So we use invisible decrease to make sure that the bottom of your work looks as seamless and lineless as the top or beginning part. And to work invisible decrease, also take a look at your stitches. Like here's a stitch and here's a stitch, and there's like a V shape, and there's a front loop and a back loop, which we refer to as the front loop and the back loop. And you're going to pick up the front loop only. So pick up the front loop of the first stitch, and then pick up the front loop of the second stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. And because I like the right side to show on the outside, it's important to work in that front loop only, because then actually it leaves those back loops exposed. So we keep those hidden on the inside. My camera stopped recording automatically, I guess. I don't really know where it cut me off, but whatever, invisible decrease, it's good, learn it, use it. So I did one invisible decrease, and then I'm going to work one single crochet in the next stitch. A decrease and then a single crochet. You're going to work that pattern 6 times all the way around for a total of 6 decreases and 12 stitches. So there's one invisible decrease, one single crochet, one invisible decrease, one single crochet. As you're getting used to invisible decrease, controlling your tension can be helpful in lessening any weird gaps. So tension is usually controlled by this finger, this pointer finger in my left hand, and how big of a loop I'm allowing to go on my hook in my right hand. So when I'm working my invisible decrease, I kind of make sure that I have a good hold with my left pointer finger, just to make sure none of my stitching gets humongous. You may not find that this is a problem for you, but I found that when I was first starting to use a lot of invisible decreases, I thought my work was really gappy, and I'm like, why is this called invisible? It was just because I needed to learn to control my tension. I'm at the end of round 9 here, so I have 12 stitches all the way around. I'm going to pull out my hook for a second, and I'm going to start stuffing. For this particular project, I like to use as much stuffing as I can get in there. I think it'll make the ball look nice and round, and just kind of want to shove in as much as possible. Let's see. The other thing though is we still have to keep crocheting. So if you have too much stuffing bursting out everywhere, it can be very difficult to keep crocheting. But we will stuff some more at the very end. That's where our handy dandy pencil will come into play. I think I've pretty much maxed out how much I can put in here without driving myself nuts, so I'm going to put my hook back on. We're going to work our last round, which is round 10. And round 10 is simply invisible decrease 6 times. So every stitch is going to be a decrease. There's one. See the stuffing, you're gonna have to like push it down. Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. 5. And the last one, as I'm coming up on my stitch marker, 6. Then we're going to slip stitch to the next stitch to join. So slip stitches, insert your hook into the desired stitch, yarn over, and pull through both loops. So you have one loop left on your hook. Break off, leaving yourself about 8 inches of yarn to work with, like 6 to 8. But it's just a short yarn tail so that you have enough to work with and close up this little hole. So yarn over and pull that yarn tail all the way through. You don't need your stitch marker anymore. See, that just pulls right out like this. And before I close up the hole, I'm going to try to get more stuffing inside. I think it helps to kind of ball up the stuffing a little bit first. Grab your pencil and just start smushing it in with the pencil. I prefer the Polyfill brand of stuffing, and Polyfill usually comes with a wooden stick. It's usually kind of buried within the stuffing, so you kind of have to fish around for it, but it's very handy. I mean, it's basically a long chopstick, so if you have chopsticks, like, that'll work too. But I thought it was pretty cool once I figured out why the heck there was a wooden stick in my stuffing. Kind of squish that around, look at the shape, see if you like it. It's looking pretty good to me. So you're going to make your pencil go away and then thread your tapestry needle through your yarn tail. And I'm going to close up the hole, picking up the front loops only of my stitches, and I'm going to angle my needle going from the inside to the outside. So just pick up one loop from the inside to the outside. Oops. Like this. And then you just pull to close that hole. Tie a knot to secure your stitching. And then weave in the yarn end. So you just want to weave through like the inside, like the middle of some stitches like this. And then to hide a yarn tail perfectly inside a three-dimensional object, you just pop your needle back through where your yarn was coming from and then exit the needle through any place on the project. You give the yarn tail a tug and you snip the yarn close, and the yarn tail just disappears inside your project like this. So this cake ball part is done. If you were making a chickie, you would be done crocheting already. So it was really quick. But I'm going to show you how to make some bunny ears. To start the bunny ears, you would make a magic circle again, but if you don't want to make the magic circle and you want me to show you the other way that I usually do things, is put a slip knot on your hook and chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then you slip stitch to the first chain like this. There's your slip stitch. I have to kind of pinch the middle of that loop with my thumb and my middle finger just so it's easier for me to find, and chain 1. And you're going to start by working 6 single crochet into the ring again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, we're not joining rounds, so just keep working into the first stitch of round 1. And we're going to work 2 single crochet in the first stitch. 1, 2, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. You're working that a total of 3 times all the way around for 3 total increases. So here's the second one. Second increase, and then 1 single crochet. One more time, an increase, and 1 single crochet. Going to use, well, I don't really need to use a stitch marker, I don't think. I'll just count. So for round 3, it's just 9 single crochets evenly, since our stitch count is currently 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And for round 4, it's the exact same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to stop counting rounds right now. I'm just going to keep decreasing evenly by repeating this motif around and around and around and around. So don't worry if we're on like round 5 or 6 or 7. We're not counting those anymore. We're just counting decrease motifs. Okay, and your decrease motif is 1 invisible decrease. There's 1 decrease. And then 3 single crochet evenly. So that's 1 single crochet in the following 3 stitches. Okay, that's the motif. 1 decrease and then 3 single crochets. You're just going to repeat that a total of 4 times for a total of 4 decreases. This will leave you with 5 single crochets at the end. I'm talking and I'm not counting. Let's see, 1 decrease, 1, 2, 3. I've already worked 2 decreases, so I just have to work 2 more. 1, and then 1, 2, 3. My last decrease, my last invisible decrease, and then 1, 2, and then 3. The ear is done, my friend. All we do is slip stitch to the next stitch, and that's it. Break off, leaving about 12 inches of yarn. You're going to use this yarn tail to sew the ear to the head. Pull that all the way through. This is what your ear looks like, and go ahead and make another one just like this one. Okay, so I'm going to find the top of my ball. This is round 1 and where we started the top of the cake ball, and I'm going to grab an ear and I'm going to insert my needle into like a stitch from round 1 right here, kind of just slightly off center. I don't want my ears to exactly meet in the very middle, so I'm just leaving a tiny space. So I brought my needle back out, and then I'm going to hook through the bottom 2 layers here of my ear. You're just sewing the base of the ear to the top of the head. I don't really know how else to explain it. I just go through the head, and then I come back out through the bottom of the ear. It'll only take like maybe 3 or 4 stitches. If you feel more comfortable with pinning your pieces first, you can pin both ears into place before you start sewing any stitches. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I get kind of lazy when it comes to pinning. Just kind of keep sewing and looking and sewing and looking. I think it needs 1 more stitch to anchor it down. At this point, I haven't decided which is the front of the face and which is the back of the head. I like to decide that after I get both of the ears on. Sometimes one side will just look better than the other. Or they might look exactly the same. Let's see what happens. So tie a knot. And pass my needle through a couple stitches. And then hide the yarn tail. And you just do the exact same thing to the other side of the head with the other ear. So I'm going to string the yarn on my needle. Take a look here. So since I picked up a couple stitches on this side of center, I am going to start with a couple stitches this side of center. Come through the bottom of the ear. So. any of the stitching gets ugly, like after I sew on the whole ear, if I have like weird lumpy places or parts where I want to tuck in the yarn more, I'll just go back in and sew down with a couple stitches. I don't know if you guys remember the TV show Craft Wars. It was on really briefly. It was hosted by Tori Spelling, and I had a good time blogging about it. And one of the gals who was a contestant said something like, she really loved glitter because glitter hides a multitude of sins. I always just kind of remember that. So for me, when it comes to crocheting, it's sewing that always hides a multiple of sins. So if I crochet something kind of funky, I feel like I can always go in with my tapestry needle and a yarn tail and try to fix up some ugly spots. Like if there's a hole, or like, I don't know if you can see, but I just feel like there's a bit of yarn here that's kind of looking blubby, so I will like weave my needle back toward the blubby area and then try to tack it down or hide it with a couple stitches. Cause like, who's gonna know that I did this except you guys? Like, no one's gonna know. So just gonna give it a couple passes here. Kind of gets sewn down. It's covered my sins. Okay, so as you're manhandling this ball, it's gonna get misshapen and look weird. You just have to squish everything back into place. It's no big deal. It is a soft object. It's not always gonna look great 100% of the time. You have to squish it back into form. If you like how your ears are looking, go ahead and tie a knot. Again, if you do not like the positioning or how it's turning out, like, start over. It's worth it. It's gonna bug you if you don't, and it only takes a couple minutes to sew these guys back on. And I might not be 100% happy with the positioning of this particular one, but since it's on camera, I don't want to do it over and over and over. But I encourage you to do it over and over and over if you feel like you need to. Kind of like turning him around, checking him out, trying to see which part I want to make the front of the face. I don't know, this side is just looking a little deformed. This side is looking a lot better to me. Just gonna... Stuffing's kind of being weird, but it's fine. Okay. So what I'm going to do actually is put in the stick while I position the face, just so I know that I'm not putting the eyeballs on too high or too low. So find where you're going to want to put the stick in, and it might not be the center of the hole you sewed up at the bottom. Because we work in a spiral, I don't really know how to explain it, but your rounds aren't going to be straight, like it's not like a straight horizontal line. Your rounds kind of end up doing this because we're working in a spiral and not joining our rounds. So the top and the bottom might look, I can't even explain it. I'm terrible, but I'm just saying, when you do this, don't worry about if this is not the hole that you closed up at the end of the cake ball part. Just pick an opening that makes this cake ball look good to you. And I think I picked one too far back, so I'm going to go a stitch forward. And smush it, look at it, turn it around. I think I like that, so I'm just going to keep that in there for now, and I'm going to cut out some eyeballs using my handy punch. I'm using dark brown felt. Two eyeballs popped out. I pre-cut a yellow nose heart just because sometimes it takes me forever to cut the heart out the right way, so I figured I would do that off camera and not make you guys wait for me to cut a million hearts to get the perfect one. Start squishing his face and putting the facial features on. This. And you can use any colors you want. You can use an upside down triangle for a nose. There's just so much you can play around with when you decorate your cake balls. That's looking good. You can go ahead and glue those down. It was just open. Don't leave your glue without a cap on. The way I do, apparently. Especially if you're using Fabri-Tac. Fabri-Tac just dries out so quickly. So I'm going to glue his eyes on first, and then the nose last. It's easier for me to recenter the nose, I think, than to reposition the eyes around the nose, than have it off-center. That would really bother me. So, do this eye first. If you've never used Fabri-Tac before, it dries pretty quickly, which is great for some projects, but you just need to keep an eye on your timing. My glue is like raring to come out. Okay. Gluing on this other eye. Like this. Get a little tap tap. I don't know why that's funny to me. I think I had a teacher who must have, maybe like a piano teacher, or I don't know. Is it someone on TV who just kind of goes tap tap? I don't know. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know. If you have no idea, we'll just assume it's from some random memory in my brain. Okay, my glue is like out of control right now. I'm gonna wipe that off. I think that tends to happen to Fabri-Tac when it starts getting older. It dries out really quickly and it starts getting really thick. And then like it creates this weird pressure bubble and gets real messy. I don't know. I have like a love-hate relationship with Fabri-Tac. I love it for so many reasons, but it is really fussy sometimes. So put on his little nose. Oh, tap tap. Well, now we can say that I said it, right? Unless you notify me otherwise. Okay, now I'm going to glue in the stick. So we know now what hole we want to use. It sounds weird, talking a lot about holes and balls, but whatever. And only glue like a little bit of the top because thing stops recording automatically for some reason. But anyway, so as you insert the stick, I find it's better to like twist it back and forth, and it helps kind of ease more glue inside the head so that there isn't just a ton of glue just being shoved down and oozing down the stick. So just like almost like wiping it while you're rotating it like that. I don't know why I picked yellow. Now it kind of looks like a beak to me, but I just wanted to use a color that stood out against the pink. I also thought it was so he could match the chickie a little bit. I was at Michael's the other day looking at... sorry. I was at Michael's looking for ribbon for another project, and I came across this set of pastel ribbon, and I bought it to put in my hair, like at the end of my braids, but they're really pretty Easter colors, so I thought that they would make cute bows for the bottoms of my cake pops. Let's see, I've already used the blue one and the pink one. Maybe I'll use the sparkly white one. Maybe this one. I don't know. It doesn't matter. How about this one? Where the heck is the end of this thing? Okay. So I'm really bad at tying bows, like I'm really bad at precision work, which is why I work in worsted weight yarn. So it might be a little painful watching me tie this bow. I should probably be watching some bow tutorials or something, because that's what the YouTubes is for. Like I'll get there, like I'll have the bow, but it won't be pretty. I just tie it like a shoelace. I don't know. You guys can help me out if you have some tips. Because then it's like you have one tail going up and one tail going down. It's not ever really that straight. I don't know. Maybe I'm too hard on myself, but I would like to get better at making pretty bows. It's not too ugly, right? Like I did okay. Okay, I'm not gonna fuss with it forever in front of you guys. That's embarrassing. I think it's cute. It looks like a little sash or bow tie for your cake pop creature. You can leave these long or cut them short. I've been cutting them kind of short for some reason. But, just zoomed in. Yeah, why on earth did I pick a yellow nose? I don't know. But let's just say that you made a white one with a pink nose. That's much better, right? This guy, like, this is, here, let me show you what happened. Like, this guy is like the love child of this guy and this guy. This guy is like a chicky bunny hybrid. He's the product of Easter love. Okay, so your bunny is finished, and obviously you can make your chickie just by making that really simple ball and adding some pom-poms and facial features. And yeah, this guy was good for teaching purposes, but this guy's the show dog. This guy is the one that's going into the ring. I hope you guys had a lot of fun making your bunny and chickie crocheted cake pops. The other thing you could do is, notice I'm wearing some hair pom-poms. They're made by Stella. I think it's iwearstella.com. And you could actually make hair pom-poms with these little guys too. That would be cute. Anyway, if you haven't yet, I would really love it if you would check out my new book. I haven't gotten my shipment of books in yet, but when I do, I'll be posting them in my Etsy shop in case you guys want signed copies. If people have bought books on Amazon and they still want a signature or a note from me, I am planning to order some book plates that I'll be selling on Etsy, so you can like order a book plate and let me know if you want a signature, or if you want a signature and a message. You can just buy that book plate and I'll ship it to you, and you can just stick it into your book. I kind of already have some ideas of what I want some future projects to be, but again, I'm always open to hearing suggestions. I might, if you check out my book and you look at all the projects, pick one project that you'd like to see a YouTube tutorial for. If there's one project that's the most popular, I will make a tutorial for you guys. Obviously, I'm not going to make a free video tutorial for every pattern in the book, otherwise you guys wouldn't buy the book. But I would definitely love to know if there is a particular project that seems weird that you want a video for, and I'm happy to show that to you. I think that's it. But yeah, otherwise, if you guys have project ideas that you're dying for a tutorial for, let me know. I was thinking of doing a chain link scarf, just because there's a scarf that I wear all the time that I didn't make. I actually bought it in downtown Disney like 8 million years ago, and everyone always asks me if I made it, oh, it's so cute, and it's just really just simple chain links, but I think what people like is the color. I think that would be a fun, easy project for us to do together. And my scarf is starting to look yucky. I mean, it's getting old. I've washed it quite a bit. So I'm ready to make myself a new one, and if you guys want one too, that'd be perfect. Again, if you have any comments, suggestions, whatever, just leave it down below or anywhere on my social media, like Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I hope you all are doing so well. I hope everyone is happy and healthy. Everything is cool on this end, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you. Bye. And again, he got a little bit of ribbon. Guys.